Level Up is a regular podcast that brings you topics to help you perform at work and in life at your very highest level. Your host is Dan Chiodo, an executive coach, corporate trainer, and author. He is president of Impact Training and Executive Coaching. And now, here's Dan.
Thank you, Jesse. And to our audience, thank you for joining us for Level Up. If you watched any episodes this season, you will see that it's the season of being. Our last one was Be Bold. Sean Roberts talked about bold career steps. And today's episode, number 71, is entitled Be Kind. Today, we're going to go to a gated community called Tidewater, apparently the place to live in Southwest Florida, because it's what one realtor told me. And communities like this take a good board, good management, and engaged residents, and a good lifestyles director to help in planning what happens there. My guest today is the lifestyle director at Tidewater. She oversees and develops programming that promotes health, well-being, engagement, and growth for residents. She is on the Blue Zones Project leadership team and co-chairs the Southwest Florida Blue Zone Project. Blue Zones, by the way, is a program found in several spots around the world that use a community-wide approach to creating healthier and more productive citizens, helping them live longer and healthier lives. So let's talk to my guest. To learn more, I'd like you to welcome Michelle Wedlake. Welcome, Michelle.
Thank you, Dan. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak to you. And I love this topic. I am so passionate about it. So I'm really looking forward to our conversation.
Me too. I was so thankful that you said that you would do it. And you do a remarkable job. You once told me that you found that this is your perfect career and that it brings you purpose and happiness. So many people want that. I read a statistic the other day that said about 85% of people all over the world feel disengaged in their jobs. So as an executive coach, I love to talk to people who have a passion for what they do. And that sounds like you. Is that right?
That is so true. I wake up every morning and I've already got like my to-do list going, and I really am engaged in this role. And I feel very blessed and fortunate, to be at this stage of my career, to have this opportunity. And the residents where I work and the board and the First Service Residential, the company that I work for, collectively all have values that really align. And I'm really, really very blessed to be able to be here. And I've always had a passion for service. And so for me to be able to have this role and to be able to be a leader who, takes kindness very seriously and compassion, and that has really been really rewarding for me. And I think has helped, our lifestyle program and all of our residents benefit from it. And it's been really fun. And that's another part of what I really enjoy is that, we have fun in everything that we do.
I love that.
Yes, so thank you.
That.
Yes.
When I work with organizations and we figure out what their values are that they're going to operate by, if fun is not on that list, I will put it on that list because I think it's really important. When you're having fun at what you do, makes all the difference. Why shouldn't you have fun at work too? So, Hey, I'd like to travel back into some of the things you've done in the past. I always like to explore a person's career to see what got them here. So would you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. I actually, I was born in Ohio to two wonderful, great parents, Dan and Sylvia Haggerty. And I really say that they started my education. And from there, I went to Erie View Catholic High School. And then from there, I went to Ohio Dominican University in Columbus. And I studied for 2 years. And then at that point, I was the first person in my family to actually go to college. And but at the time, I didn't realize I didn't have enough of the resources to go to this private college. And so what I did is I went back to Ohio, to Cleveland, where I was from, and I actually started working. And then I would go to different classes at the community college. And so I was grateful from an early start to always have that thirst to learn. So even though I didn't finish my studies at Ohio Dominican University, I was able to finish studies all along my way in my career. And I come from good stock of hard workers. And whenever I, received a position, they could always tell that I was a hard worker. And so opportunities opened up for me. So I've always been successful in all of the careers that I've had. I've probably been in the admin role for at least 40 years. And I started out with a company in, again, Ohio, for a manufacturing called Pioneer Standard Electronics. And I did their payroll. And I also have like a strong attention to detail. And so I managed, I want to say like 18 states and maybe 26 cities of processing their payrolls and all of that. And then from there, I moved on to a Health Hill Hospital for Children, which is a nonprofit hospital that is right now run by Cleveland Clinic. And I was their payroll supervisor. And then I had children, and then I didn't work for a while. And then my most recent job, before I actually relocated to Ohio, was working for Automation Tool and Die, which is a manufacturing company in Medina, Ohio. And I had the opportunity to work for two great brothers, one in sales and one in operations. And I really had some great experience working with them. I was able to work on projects. Not only was I their personal assistant, but I was also their business assistant, and then helped them manage their projects. And they actually saw some potential in me and sent me to a program called Leadership Medina County. And I was able to attend that for the year of 2020, and graduated from that program, and really was able to learn a lot. And so all of those interactions with, collaborating and working with different business leaders really have helped me in my role here at Tidewater, because I was able to, I came on board as the admin assistant / lifestyle coordinator. And I actually thought I was going to be working under the lifestyle director at the time, when I was interviewing, and then realized that, no, that was me. And then after, I want to say about 3 months of being the coordinator, I was promoted to the lifestyle director. And it's been a wonderful opportunity. And I think sometimes, not having the experience in the actual role of lifestyle prior to this, but I had all of the business and the communication skills and developing relationships. And I think, again, back to that early education of Dan and Sylvia Haggerty, where for them, it was always kindness, and kindness is leadership. And no matter what you do, because I really think that kindness is really, first of all, learned at home. And then it's, taught to us again in schools and in our work communities and stuff. So at an early age, I really had a great foundation of the things that would help me be successful.
You bet. That's a very rich history when you think about it. I love
Yes.
the fact that you weren't intending to go to the university in one way, but the resources weren't there. So you found another way to learn. And you talked about working hard. I don't think there's any other substitute to that. And then two other words you used, luck and opportunity. And it just looks like you were open to that. So
Yes.
that really did prepare you for this role, it seems, and all the businesses that you worked with. So very good. No matter.
Thank you.
That's why you're so good at what you do.
Thank you, Dan. I really appreciate that.
Well, let's talk about kindness, because you mentioned that word too. And let's just do a light overview, because In the second part of the episode, we're going to dig down into all 12 areas. I think there are. But tell us about the campaign, Kindness is the New Cool.
Well, in 2023, we were looking at adding on to the lifestyle program of well-being. And so we created a branch in our lifestyle advisory group, which was a Blue Zone project initiative. But when we met with our lifestyle advisory group leader, she came up with the name Thrive. And so that's part of our group. And so what we're trying to do is help all of our Tidewater residents live their best lives longest, and also to be able to well-being being, all of the different capacities, health and wellness and spiritual, all of the different components. And so when I looked at the Kindness is the New Cool campaign, we thought that kind of aligned with everything that we're trying to do in our Thrive program. And honestly, I think that, when you do an act of kindness, not only does that affect, the person that is receiving that act, it also makes you feel good too. And then my experience even here at Tidewater has been when I've done something for someone, again, I feel good, they feel good, but then I've had people witness some of those good things. And then I've seen them actually go and do acts of kindness themselves. So it's really something that grows. And there's actually been studies, too, that have been done. I read one where it said that, it gets the hormones going, and that there is some science, a lot of science behind it, and that some mental health professionals are starting to use gratitude journals and meditation and all of that, again, about being grateful and kindness to help patients. So I really love the topic. And when you asked me to do it, I was like, wow, this is my jam. I love this. So
yeah, this is a great topic. In fact, I have a quote. It's very eloquently said, and it's yours. You said this.
Okay.
When we see people doing good deeds or helping each other, it gives us hope and inspires us. That pretty well sums it up, doesn't it?
Yes, it really does. Yes. Yeah.
I think that, after working out each day, my wife and I go to Starbucks and we spend about 90 minutes there or so. And what I noticed there is that kindness is contagious. When that store first opened, people didn't know each other. They're establishing their routines. And through the time that people spend there, you can see the relationships developing. You meet people, you look around. And although there are negative things happening in this world, when you look at people holding the door for each other, greeting each other, helping each other with their drinks, it just shows you that there is so much kindness out there between people. It's a beautiful thing to see. Yeah. Well, Michelle, after we break, we're going to look at 12 ways to be kind. So I can't wait to do that. Michelle Wedlake is our guest on Level Up today. I am Dan Chiodo, your host. This is a perfect time for a break. You're watching Level Up. We'll be right back after this.
One of the issues that we face today is that we are so busy and distracted that we don't take responsibility for what we think about. In fact, many believe that they can't control their thinking at all. Not true. You have the power to control your thoughts. And since your actions are controlled by your thoughts, you can determine your actions, which ultimately affect your results in life. Mind walking is a daily 15-minute exercise where you practice thinking on purpose while you walk. Just walk and listen as success coach Bill Mansell guides you through the mind walking exercises. In just 15 minutes a day, you'll learn how to get your mind's attention and then focus your thoughts toward what's right in your life now and what you want to create in your future. You'll be able to clearly visualize how it will feel when you've accomplished your most important goals. Then, throughout the day, no matter how stressful the situation, no matter how negative the thoughts that invade your mind, you will know how to immediately take charge of your thinking to create the life that you really want. Visit mindperk.com and search for Bill Mansell to learn more and to purchase the Mind Walking program.
We are back. Thank you for being with us. My guest is Michelle Wedlake, Lifestyle Director at Tidewater, a community in Southwest Florida. I am Dan Chiodo, your host. Now, I'd like to review a dozen ideas about kindness. It's in the kindness doctrine that Michelle is going to address. And I want to talk about each one. This time, I'm going to ask the audience to do something. If you want to be more kind, I mean, who doesn't want to do a better job at that? I'd like you to take out a piece of paper and a pen, and I'd like you to rate yourself 1 to 5. 5 is the highest, so that's something like I do it all the time. 1 is the lowest. And if you want to be more kind, let's take a look at how you could get there. We'll rate ourselves. So again, 5 is the highest, 3 average, 1 you have a little work to do. So let's take a look at each of these areas. Michelle, you address that, and I may chime in for a couple ideas too. But number 1, handwrite and mail a thank you note. Go ahead.
Yes, I think that, handwriting that thank you note, not only does it make you feel good yourself when you're doing it in the actual act of doing that, but when you mail it and they receive that, it's such a wonderful feeling for them that you actually took the time to be able to do it. And, that's one of the things that my grandmother always did, was to handwrite a note. And it really does mean so much to the person that is receiving it.
It's great. It's wonderful. I once was in the publishing field, and I had a client who could always get stuff done cheaper, but always came to me, and we charged a little more. And I asked him one time, what makes you do that? And he said, well, there have been times I've been tempted, but how can I do that when you do this? And he opened his credenza, and there were thank you notes that I had sent him. And I thought, wow, thank you notes can be pretty powerful. So that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yes. I
totally
agree.
2 is text a friend with a kind message.
Yes.
Talk about that.
I really thought, again, with that one, we text all the time, see you in a few minutes, or, I'll meet up there, or but just to be able to send a person a text, a random text, a good thought, I think really goes a long way as well, and, brightens someone's day. You don't have the time to actually sit down and maybe write them a card, but it's just, hey, I'm thinking about you and you matter.
Yep. Beautiful thought. I like that. 3, let someone go ahead of you in line. That's a nice one.
Yeah. I think it's really nice. You go to the store, and, anymore, a lot of lines are, everyone checks out themselves. And, if you're there and you have this large cart of your groceries and you see someone that only has a few, it's always nice to let them go, ahead of you. And I like to do that. And I typically go to the store, and I don't usually shop for, it's just my husband and myself, but I'll still always try and, look around and see if I could have someone, pop in front of me. And again, for me, it's a conversation builder, and, I enjoy talking to people. So, but I always think that that's so nice, especially if someone's got 1 or 2 items and they can quickly get through.
Yeah, very good. I like that. And to remember, if someone let you go ahead of them in line, to thank them. So that is good too. Yes. Okay, and I hope viewers are rating yourself for doing each one of these. So we'll have to see what you come up with for yourself. Number 4, genuinely compliment someone.
I think it's so nice, again, to be actually, walking. So many times you walk by someone and you see they're looking down or they're looking away from you, but to really address someone is the first step of that. And then secondly, to be able to, oh, you know what? I really love that purse. That looks so nice. Or, I really love your hair, where you're taking an interest in someone, and that really makes them feel good. And that's another thing that I think when we can just be more aware, we're able to, really brighten someone's day and to be genuine by it, and there's so many things that we can be genuine for. Someone's smile, again, the shoes they wear, I love shoes, so I'm always looking at someone's shoes, and there's something that everyone could probably find if they're, looking to do that challenge.
I like that. And I like the word genuinely, because I think
Yes.
of complimenting them on something specific, not just a general compliment.
Yes.
Nice job. But telling them what they did, I think goes a long way.
Yes.
How about number 5, leave a generous tip?
I think that's important. And you know what? Sometimes even when I've actually received food that wasn't exactly up to par, I realize that is not the server's fault. And sometimes it's not the kitchen either. And, I always see, how hard they worked. I also was a waitress during some of my earlier years. So, I know that could be a hard job. And so it's really nice to, leave that for someone who really, works hard, who deserves it, and, gives great service. And, I think that they really appreciate that. And then there's also, unfortunately, some folks who might not tip as well. So, hopefully that helps them out. And, I see them to be very grateful too.
That's a very good thought.
Yes.
And I think, too, after COVID, I know when my wife and I went places, we tried to tip more. We were just thankful the restaurants were open again.
Right.
Really haven't changed that. So
Yes.
I think that generous tip is very good.
Yes.
Well, number 6, treat yourself to a relaxing evening.
Yes. I really think it's also the way that people can be kind to others is, first of all, to be kind to yourself. And I think that when we did the Maintain, Don't Gain challenge over the summer. And, one of the first things was to, be kind to yourself. We've gone through COVID. We have so many challenges, and, we're not 20 anymore. We're a 55 plus community. And so, what you could do, 20 or 30 years ago, we still can't do. So being kind to ourselves and making sure that we, put ourselves as a priority first. And, one of the things that I think we might have mentioned is, when you're in the airplane, you always put the mask on your child first, is what they say, in the airplane safety message. And it's kind of the same way, about kindness or other things in our lives, that we really need to, take care of ourselves so that we can take care of others. So I think that's a really big point too.
I love that. So far, a lot of the kindness things have been for what you do for others. And this one takes a look at yourself, to just enjoy something like that. It's very
right.
good.
Right.
Number 7, pay for someone's coffee.
Yeah. I think that's so nice. I think it's, that person, we're all typically, when you're getting your coffee, you're on your way to work, you're in a hurry, but you need your coffee, and it's such a nice thing to do. And the joy that you see in someone's face, when they're surprised that, that's been done, is so rewarding. And, mostly it's something that everybody could do, because it's not, shouldn't be that expensive to be able to do it. And again, just to see the joy. And I've also heard people who have done it then after the fact. And in fact, my daughter did it through a drive-through restaurant, I can't remember if it was like a Taco Bell or something like that. And, it really made me feel good that, here she is, at the time in college, thought about doing something nice like that too, and, paying it forward.
That is great. It's especially fun in a drive up. If
right.
someone's behind you and you do that. I always appreciate that. Number 8, tell your spouse, partner, or friend how much you appreciate them.
It's so true. I think sometimes, we could get busy and we don't take the time to do kind of those things. So especially when, or even if you are used to doing that, it's always nice to either leave a note or to express your gratitude or do something even kind for them. I really can't, I take for granted sometimes because my husband has cooked a lot and I probably haven't cooked dinner in, probably more years than, I could really want people to know. But I'm so grateful for that because that really allows me the opportunity to do the things that I do. But it's also something that he enjoys. So I also want to tell him thank you, for doing that. So I think that, just letting our spouses, our family, our children know how much we appreciate them is, again, showing them their value. And again, they'll learn from that and then they'll do that for others.
I love that. I want to add a little something to that one because I love it telling that person how much you appreciate them. Mm-hmm. And the next step, I think, is to shut up. And the reason I say that is sometimes we tell people we appreciate them and then we think of other stuff like, oh, and did you take the trash out? And are you ready for this tomorrow? And then it lost its glory because by itself, that appreciation is everything. And that's all you said. So
right. I agree with that. I totally agree with that. Yep.
Number 9, send or buy flowers for a friend.
Who doesn't love flowers? What about,
right?
It's so nice. And when you think about that, and it's so crazy because, as I've gotten older that, and sometimes when it comes to the holidays, it's not the actual bouquet. It's, just what, that they've thought about you and that you have those flowers. So it doesn't matter if, you pick them up at Costco or you pick them up from the florist, but just getting someone, some nice flowers. One flower is just really so nice. And it's something that is lasting, like flowers typically last. I actually have some flowers on my desk right now, and they just actually spread that joy and make you feel good, every time that you see them. And again, they don't have to be an expensive bouquet. It could be the smallest flower. It could be a flower you picked from your garden. But again, it's just the thoughtfulness that you've done that. And that really does mean a lot to a lot of people. So
it means a lot. I've noticed too in Southwest Florida that there are some people now who have no money and are at the end of corners as you're driving in a stoplight.
Yes.
And they have flowers. I guess you can donate for the flowers, but bouquets of flowers. And I thought, isn't that interesting? That wouldn't take much time to donate and you'd have your flowers very quickly.
That's right.
Number 10, contact someone you haven't talked with in a while.
I love that saying that, or that we all have those friends that, when you pick up the phone and you might not have talked for months or even years, but, when you pick up that phone, you're right back to where you were, those years ago. And I think that, again, kindness, you can think about kindness, you can, do kind things, but the act of kindness, the act of actually doing it and picking up that phone and making that call and making that time really means so much, and it's purposeful. And, I think that, again, getting that call out of the blue is really probably one of the nicest things, especially too, when it's just about, hey, how are you? How have you been? I've missed you. How's your family? Is really making a really nice connection. And again, will make someone feel real good, and you'll feel good about it too.
You bet. Even if it's a person that you seem to have to be the one to call them, but what does it matter? You get a chance to talk with them.
Right. And you know what, too? I always think, that sometimes it's seasons in someone's lives. And typically when we do kindness, we're not doing it to get something back or to have someone say, oh, look, you've done something kind. But, when there's people who maybe are so busy or are taking care of parents or are taking care of kids or grandchildren and stuff, and they don't really have that time, that, like you said, it's just a matter of, reaching out to them, and they really appreciate it. And so it's not about, they did it, I did it. It's more about really, you just being kind and, knowing that they would appreciate that call and being there for them as their friend.
That's right. During COVID, my wife and I did a lot of walking. And we would just walk in the neighborhood or take a journey somewhere. And one day we said, let's make a COVID call, all during COVID.
Oh,
And we called someone randomly. We'd look in our contacts and just call a different person. And we're still doing that because it became something we really enjoyed doing. It made it like that person was there walking with us. So
wow. That's awesome.
A nice way to reach out.
That is a nice way. One thing that I've done, I'm in a new role and I enjoy it. And my schedule is very flexible. We have events, so I'll work some evenings or some weekends. But it really is important to me to make sure that I make time to connect with my family. So, technology is great. So I've set up some reminders. So like I'll have them, go off every, couple of weeks. Like if I haven't reached out to a certain someone, just because life can get busy. And I really do want to stay in touch and, make that effort.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, number 11, I'm going to have a little fun with because I think I do this one inadvertently. Let someone into your lane when driving.
Okay.
Didn't know I was doing that, but talk about that a little bit. Let someone into your lane when driving.
Right. Again, it's one of those things where, especially what I've learned in Florida being here is, the traffic and it's just so nice to have that friendly face because everybody's in a hurry. Sometimes, the way that the traffic can be, but be kind and to just let someone in. It's like, they're shocked. They can't believe it. You've let them in front of you. And, how often is it for us when, you're trying to get out into a certain lane that that you can do it where it's, first of all, safe way to do it. And you're not trying to, dodge that bullet. And, but I really think it's so nice to do it. And I'm a constant waver when someone lets me in, I wave once and then I wave again to make sure that they can really see my wave. But again, it's nice to be that way. And again, I think that really teaches, the folks around us, teaches our children, if they're in the car, that it's really the proper way that we should, be doing things out on the road.
That's right. I love to watch after Mass sometimes as the parking lot cars are coming out. And it just seems like each car lets one car in.
That's so nice.
You kind of watch it and you think, now this is the way it should be.
Right. No, that's nice. That's really nice. Especially too, Dan, because what I've realized down here going to church is that going to church is like parking in a beach parking lot. Like just how everybody lines up to go to the beach. We have lots of folks at church, which is a wonderful thing, right? Getting out of the parking lot. So, but that's really nice. And I agree with you. I mean, I think that everybody is really kind and considerate, and it's inspiring for sure.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Okay, even dozen here. This is number 12. Say hello to everyone you pass by.
Yeah, I think that's so important. Again, just being so, welcoming and friendly. When my husband and I moved into our apartment, we noticed that everyone would like look away or they would look down to the ground. And we're like, is this like, we're not used to this. We're from, Northeast Ohio and everyone is, super friendly for the most part and that. And so we would make it a point, and sometimes it just seemed like people were uncomfortable. But now it's like everybody says hello to each other. And it really is just really friendly. And it just makes you feel so good and, make you aware. And they really appreciate that now too. And, I just think, we can get so busy, and it's just a nice way to just, again, have that human kindness come across, that we make the point. And then I really think that makes that will make people do that as well. It makes them more comfortable to do that.
I think so too.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. And also, I love what you said about that, to think about maybe at first it wasn't as friendly, and then you and your husband started to do that. I mean, that's truly how you create kindness. You just give kindness and then people start to do it in return. I think that's beautiful.
Right. I truly believe that it is the ripple effect. And that was one of the things with the challenge. The challenge was, to send it out to the community. And, again, it was just not everybody's going to do it. Maybe the timing wasn't right for someone, but it brought them aware of it. And then as other residents did do it, they were making comments about how their spouse, did it and how they're going to keep doing it. And then I heard all different kinds of stories about how good they felt, about how the recipients of their kindness felt. And, even the one about one woman had said, regarding the saying hello to everyone you meet. She goes, it was so hard. She goes, I was in Publix and I tried to say hello to like all these people, but there was only really one person that looked at me. And so it really makes you aware of just some of that. And I'm sure now, that she'll be looking for people, to say hello to too. So it's really, again, just bringing awareness. So, yeah, it was a great challenge. We had great feedback, and Sandra Greer was the winner of the challenge. So we put in all of the entries that everybody had, and then we drew a hat. So that's how she was the winner of that. But kindness is what we're focusing on for 2023. And so every month we'll be doing a little bit of something regarding kindness. And in February actually is Random Act of Kindness Day. And then they're also celebrating a week. So we have some things coming up, but we'll be doing something every month to kind of, inspire people and to spread the goodwill, because it really is a ripple effect. And we got some nice little surprises in store. So I'm really excited about that.
That's great. It's wonderful to hear what you're doing with this whole theme. It's great.
Thank you.
Michelle, thank you. Thank you so much for being on our show today and sharing your life, sharing your thoughts on kindness, and your program that you're doing. It's just
Thank you, Dan.
It's wonderful. So for everyone watching, look at your sheet of paper. And if you want to be more kind, just take a little look at where you rate and what things you'd like to work on to be even more kind. We appreciate you being with us today and thank our viewers. Also, you will have show notes at the end of this podcast. You will see all 12 of the kindness items so that you can look at them again. This episode will be in our Level Up library very soon. And hey, Dustin, I know you'll have a few final words. Mine are, be kind.
If you feel like this information was valuable to you, Dan would love it if you'd click the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions or thoughts about today's episode, please leave a comment. Also, if you're a first-time subscriber, be sure to ring that bell to be notified about future episodes. To learn more about what Impact Training and Development can do for you and your business, visit impactbydan.com, where you can find more information about executive coaching, corporate training, keynote speaking, and much more. Thanks so much for watching.